Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Simming in Oz and today we're doing something a little bit different. We are doing a $0 build challenge. Have you ever started a rags to riches challenge where the starting lot with its nothing on it is just a little bit underwhelming and not really fitting with your rags to riches narrative? I've found this so much. I hate that empty lot start. So today we are going to do something that's going to help this. I am doing a rags to riches $0 build that's made up entirely of live edit objects. And so it's pretty much in line with the narrative that people typically go for when they do a rags to riches. It's a homeless person, they're likely young, and what worse way to really start off everything is a sleeping under the bridge scenario with lots of garbage and everything, and you're sort of tucked away and it's all very depressing and maybe it's raining and dark and there's shifty characters. It just works for the narrative, and it's exactly what I would have wished for in the past when I was doing rags to riches. So what we've done is the sleeping under the bridge thing, perfect. I wanted there to be lots of garbage and quite cluttered. It was really important to me that the build fit into the neighborhood. So we're doing this on the Eco World in the lot called the Caboose. And I've done it in such a way where these arches blend into the scenery. And these arches are absolutely beautiful. Like, they're from a particular pack and I've seen them a few times and I just really wanted to use them somewhere, so I decided to use them here. And I like how they just sort of blend into the scenery and the train tracks and everything. And even just the lot itself started out so perfect with that stonework just on the very bottom for the floor. So I didn't have to change all that much. It was just object, object, object. And I think it turned out really well. Obviously, you'll have to suspend your disbelief a little bit because clearly the bridge does not go on forever. I could only do so much. I'm only human. But I do love how it turned out. And I think if you zoom out to the menu world where you can see the neighborhood as a whole, it's so wild to look at. But I love a bit of drama within my builds and it turned out so lovely and I love it so much. The build was not without its challenges though. Like, it was pretty easy to do in terms of putting all the garbage down, getting some train tracks in there. I wanted to leave a space for where the sim would actually sleep. So specifically under the bridge, I've left a whole little area that's a little bit cluttered with some garbage and some grass, but is particularly easy to pop down a sleeping bag and a fireplace and maybe a tent. It's not really geared towards you're going to build a house here. This is very much the starting stages of your rags to riches challenge where you've been kicked out of home by your evil stepmother and you are currently sleeping under a bridge. Also, you're pregnant. That kind of scenario. So I think this space really does sort of tuck away the sim and just it's good for that kind of narrative. But moving through, it all sort of worked perfectly. I smashed out the build in about an hour and a half. And then I got to the end and I didn't realize the pain I was in for because I'd finished the build and then I tried to play test it because I thought, oh, I should, just to make sure. It's all live edit objects. And unfortunately, I came to find out that the arches I used to make the bridge, they weren't compatible with the pathing of the Sims, as in Sims would not walk under this bridge. They would refuse to step foot under it. It wasn't even an option. You couldn't even click under it. So I was like, oh no, now my whole build is useless. It's nothing. So I did have to be a bit clever in how I solved this issue. So I decided to, one, break the rules of my challenge really briefly and create a basement level. And let me tell you, I was sweating. I was like, oh my God, I've just made it a basement and it costs money and it's no longer a $0 build challenge. And if I can't pull this off, then it's all for nothing. So I created a basement. I put the arch in the basement and then I raised it up to be, in line with everything else. And then I very, very carefully deleted the basement in such a way that it wouldn't delete the arch that was technically placed within it. And then everything was fine. I was so relieved. Oh, but it was also really important to me that the other objects within this build were semi-functional. I think the only thing that really applies to is the street lamps. Everything else is just decoration, especially like, the fire escape and everything. It looks cool. It's not functional. Don't try and climb this thing. But the only thing that is functional is the street lights. There's a lot of street lights within the live edit object menu, that just aren't functional. Like they'll light up, but they won't light up the space. So I have put streetlights in there to help ease the narrative, and they do actually light up the space, so that's fantastic. But otherwise, it is a $0 build. She is grungy, she is cramped, and she is ready for you to step on your journey of a Rags to Riches challenge. Have fun with her. She is so gorgeous, and I kind of really just love the fire escape thing, and I put like a sewer entrance in there and everything, and it's just not a nice place to be, and it's so perfect. I almost want to play it myself, and that's not something I typically do. Typically I'm mostly just a builder, but man, I am warming to the idea of some gameplay, I tell you what. Now, if you do want to use this build yourself, I would really recommend placing it exactly where I have placed it, because as you can see, the bridge is quite long. It does clip out of the lot substantially in either direction. So if you do want it to make sense, I would really recommend placing it in the caboose lot. I don't know the name of it otherwise. It's called the caboose. I don't know. It's a 30 by 20 in the eco-friendly lot, a neighborhood, and it will just work perfectly there. If you want to put it elsewhere, like in a forest somewhere, be prepared for a bridge to completely annihilate the surrounding neighborhoods, because there's suddenly a bridge there and you'll just have to work with that. But otherwise, this build was so fun. I love her so much, and she was such a challenge, and I'm really looking forward to challenging myself similarly in the future. I do sort of even want to make a sequel video to this where I make a $0 forest Rags to Riches start, which I think would be so fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to it, because not everyone wants to start in an urban city. A lot of people would I'm sure, really appreciate starting, say, in the forest. Maybe they're lost, maybe they're a toddler, who knows? It's your narrative. You do you, girl. But she's so pretty, and I love her. I love her, I love her, I love her. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. She's small, but she's cute, and I think she fits in with everything really, really well. And I can't wait to make more in this specific challenge, more Rags to Riches lots, I think, because I was quite loving it, and I thought it turned out well. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe if you care to, but otherwise, thank you so much for coming along. I will be doing more of this in the future, and I hope you enjoyed the video, but otherwise, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.